The RNG is harder than any other campaign, meaning making guides that are consistent, but we're going to work through today a way to be able to guarantee Tyrion as well as eliminate Morathi as soon as possible. So ideally turn 10, but I'm going to tell you differences in assassination targets as well as different starting relations with the other factions, and this is how we do it. Welcome to Elven Plot Armor, and this is the guide for Alith Anar to eliminate Morathi and confederate Tyrion by turn 10, and here we are at the start of a brand new legendary campaign. You might have guessed the first thing we're going to do is go north and take the Bleakhold Fortress. As usual, we're going to fight this on the field to minimise casualties, which should be virtually none. Let's get into it. And here we are at the start of the very first battle. We're just going to deploy up on the line. There's not really anything special, just hotkey your archers number 3, Alith Anar number 1, and our eagle number 6. You could decide to cheese this more if you wanted to waste all their ammo, but I can't be bothered. Bring your eagle down. We want him nice and strong, and then apply all your ranged units to the next target. Use your distraction to type their melee infantry, and you should be pretty much fine. So we're going to switch to river patrols only for one turn. Now we're not going to hire the assassin straight away. I know that's what makes sense to do. It's just screaming to be done. But that assassin costs 300 gold per turn, and it's really going to cripple us financially. So we're going to wait till about turn 5, save our money, and then drop it. And what we're going to do is we'll have Alith Anar up closer to the target, drop the assassin because he drops where Alith Anar is, and we give him a bit of a head start, so we're not really losing much by doing it this way. So Alith Anar, we need to get Route Marcher. We're going to work towards Lightning Strike because we can, and we're going to get those Shadow Warriors. Now Shadow Walkers are good, but in this early stage we don't have the 2-turn luxury to be able to recruit them. And more importantly, late game, I like to have maybe 4 in the army. They're great to have at the front line because they can slow the enemies down and they'll make a bit more breathing room for you. So they're more of an insurance unit than a necessity. And now we're going to look at diplomacy and see what we roll. So here we go. You've usually got at least one of these guys will like you. So in this case it's Calidor. So he only gives us a couple of settlements, but at some point we do want Calidor because he gives us ours on Imric. So this isn't necessarily a bad thing. The best case scenario is Illyrian. Guaranteed Tyrion by turn 9. It's amazing. For this run we're going to roll with the punches. We don't need to re-roll. Here we can see there's no negatives. That's what you want. Negative, bad, negative, bad. The trend does affect things. So gifts 1, 3. Make sure you only give 4 gifts because you need at least 800 bucks in the bank to be able to afford the next round of Shadow Warriors, which we do need. Best case start, if you can get Illyrian on side, you can get every trade agreement turn 1. It's amazing, but we didn't get that. We roll with the punches. Turn 2. Turn number 2. So first step, we need to prioritize our military. So we're going to move ourselves up here. So have a look at the path. To go to Hag Hall, see roughly in the forest it is, and we're just going to move ourselves up to that point on the border. And we have enough room for encamp stance, so why not? Heal up any damaged units a little bit more, and then get yourself 3 Shadow Warriors. To be sure though, I'm going to give one more gift to Calidor just to make sure we get them and get their trade agreement as soon as possible. Now turn number 3, this is one of the most important turns you'll make. You'll see there's this little pile of trees jutting out. I like to just move ourselves up to about there, and we are going to put ourselves in ambush stance. This is one of the most important things you can do because this lord here is always a target. I've never seen it's sometimes RNG, but this is the only one I've seen that is always a target as well as Rakath. But this guy is basically easy money, so we're going to sit here in ambush stance. It's almost a given. If you take that first turn, he will come down and see it as a vulnerable territory. We have an 80% chance of being undetected in this area, so we're going to ambush him. I've tried this several times and it's always worked. Go to diplomacy. Oh, there we go. He's accepted the non-aggression. That's excellent. And we can't get trade with him, which is a huge pain. So he doesn't actually have a port. That is really annoying, but that's fine. He's at war with the Dreadfleet, so that'll hopefully get him crawling to us pretty soon. We're going to give him 2 more gifts because we also want him to actually beat the Dreadfleet as well, and we don't really need the money just this very moment. And end turn. I've not seen this fail once. I think I've tried this 5 times. Every single time it lands. Alright, we're going to have to fight this on the field. And for this ambush, we're just going to have all of our army on one side, except for our shadow walkers. They're going to stand here because they can basically tussle a little bit in melee, so we're going to keep them there. Everyone else is up on this flank here, nice and separated, and we're going to use Alith Anar and the spearmen to move forward to tie them up. Let's start the battle. Move them up, spread them, okay, use your shadow clone, there you go, and hold Alt to walk it up. Alright, let's shred this cavalry. So focus fire the cavalry down. See this? This is why shields are so good. These guys are just soaking up that damage. They don't care. This is a massive waste of their ammo. So it's good to have one unit down the back here. The reason is that they take more morale damage by having shots from behind as well. So don't always just think about damage, think about the morale penalty from being struck by all sides. And there we are, much better than the result we would have got otherwise. Everyone's still alive. So now we're now going to besiege Hag Hall.
Now we strike.
Diplomacy. He's been quite difficult still, so what we're going to do is give him a little bit more money. 1 and 2.
Wise indeed.
And just to make sure, we're going to give him a bit of influence because I don't want this to drag. It's worth seeing if the Sisters of Twilight are interested in a non-aggression pact, because they'll curtail the threats here and they'll manage this border here, allowing us to really expand south. And with that, you're good to end the turn. Turn 5, let's have a look at diplomacy. Okay, there we go. So, military access.
Most astute.
Defensive ally. I'm actually going to give them one more round of money because it will really annoy me next turn if we can't do it. So we are going to have to fight this on the battlefield, and we're going to do that right now. I'll just mention, some people get really caught up on going to the left or the right out of habit. Always actually observe the fortress and see where the weak point is. Here we've got this point here jutting out. That is the perfect spot. Alright, so in true Alith Anar fashion, we're going to be doing this very stealthy over this side to attack this exposed corner here. So let's start the battle. We're hiding in the trees, and what we're really trying to keep our eye on is the towers here to make sure we don't stay in line of sight. Focus down the ranged units first, and the rest of it should be just dismantling them piecemeal. Okay, so if they do start to attack you, use your little clone and run your clone up there to get their attention. Hold shift and you can make them do all sorts of breakdancing, and that'll really work them up. And we're happy enough with that. So I have thought about certain runs where we sack this instead and then pull back so we don't have to hold it, but the reality is it's going to give us free gold. Let's just take the free gold, heal up our forces, and more importantly, we need this turn to be able to recruit a few more troops. So have a look at what you need. Now, I personally like to always have at least 4 frontline units, and then the rest archers. So when I say 4 frontline units, 4 line holders, plus some heroes, and then the rest ranged. That's the high elf build that serves me well every single run. So we're going to hire 1 more spearman, 2 more archers. Now we hire our assassin. So he appears right next to Alith Anar, and that's excellent. So let's see where Rakath is, our final target. So he's there. So we just click up here. Okay, started turn 6, and now you might think we're going to go finish these guys off. Wrong, and I'll tell you why. First, they've got no troops left, so by the time they come down here with troops, our walls will be rebuilt, we'll have time to react. 2, everyone freaking hates them, so there's just as much chance of the Sisters of Twilight taking them out. So we're going to ignore them, and instead, we're going to go back home. So we want to eventually be moving to the point just under this rock here. So you see we've got the spikes, this rock here. That will allow us to see if there's any armies there and if it's safe to use the underpass. Going into diplomacy, let's have a look. There we go. So we're going to join Confederation, ask for 750, that seems to be the rate they're most happy with, and there we go. Do not join their war with the Dread Fleet, they're a pain in the ass. The Dread Fleet, just stay strong and they won't attack you. Keep your army numbers decent and they'll be scared of you and won't attack you. And there's the Knights of Caldor, so already down to 1 settlement. We can choose to go for them or Tyrion. So firstly, let's disband any lords, we don't need these guys. And none of these buildings are too offensive, so let's keep them there. If there's a barracks, knock it down in place of something more useful. Alright, now we need to choose what our next Confederation target is, Tyrion or Imric. Starting turn 7, just to clarify, that was 7 gifts last turn on Tyrion as well as 3 uses of influence, and we're going to kick off this turn with another 2 gifts to him. Going to Alith Anar, we're now going to move him right down to the point we previously said, and this will uncover Morathi. Go to encamp stance and hire yourself another 3 Shadow Warriors. If you can't afford this, then just backfill them with archers instead, although ideally the more Shadow Warriors the better. Starting off turn number 8, we're going to sign non-aggression and military access with Tyrion and build ourselves another 3 units, because we're basically waiting here for the coast to be clear. Morathi is at war in the south with the other Dark Elves. She's going to send these armies down and get them tangled in combat. This is the chance we're waiting for, so the reason why we went north to start off with is because you have to wait for this opportunity anyway. So we took the northern stronghold, got some money to help our confederations, we come back down here, and next turn we are going to absolutely backdoor her. End turn. And now we're going to try to teleport not right next to our settlement, but as far back as we can, because in this corner, I don't know if it's coincidence, I never take any attrition, at least on this first turn, by appearing in this corner, and it also reduces the chance they can reinforce you and rush you there. So we're currently not at war, so she just sees us as a trespasser, so that's what we're going to go with. We're going to teleport under there for diplomacy. We're just going to sign a defensive alliance with Tyrion, and we're going to see if we can join any other wars. Again, never join a war with the Dread Fleet, but if he can maybe join some of these other Dark Elf wars and get us on side, that will certainly help. So he's got 4 settlements here, meaning he's probably as strong as he's going to be, so we do need to try to take these guys down quickly and keep our balance of power high. If we did have a bit more gold, we probably could have given him another gift, and that would have got us to 80, but the reality is we need our Shadow Warriors. We need to be able to take Morathi's fortress. That's the priority. Tyrion waiting another turn, that can wait. And now starting turn 10, you'll have the ability to either target the settlement itself or any surrounding armies if they didn't move them all on. So obviously we're going to attack the army first, and luckily we got an ambush here. If you don't, it's not the end of the world. You should be able to have had lightning strike by now, but you can always back away and attempt another ambush. And even with the ambush, we're going to fight this on the field and shred the army, because we can do this without losses, and having high army strength without losses is very, very important to try and get these confederations. A safe way on this map is just to choose the rear of the map and just attack their rear guard and let them all have to funnel towards you in a straight line. This works in the most ambush battles. Now the advantage of getting that extra win is that it will give you the extra victory you need to unlock the Invocation of Vaul. So we have a toss-up right now between the Invocation of Vaul or Isha, and I'll let you make that choice. Vaul would allow us to besiege and take Morathi's capital this turn, guaranteed, but I think that's the short-term play. We can play the gimmick of trying to get things ASAP, but I like to set up for long-term sustainable campaigns. We're going to have a lot of corruption in here, and the Invocation of Isha makes us immune to corruption, meaning it's going to be much easier to finish off Morathi and the other Dark Elves in this area. And if she does sally out, that means we get to take out her army and cart them away without the threat of towers, so it's actually a win-win for us either way. So with the Confederation penalty wearing off next turn, we need to have a close look at the diplomatic situation. So Tyrion at the moment, he's not recruiting from his first army, but he is the second, so to be able to stay ahead of him balance of power wise, we're going to need to raise another army. So we have a revolt over here. Excellent. We're just going to raise a fire mage. Yes, I know, I'm obsessed. And we're going to just raise 2 archers and spearmen to back them up, and hopefully this will keep us on the front foot and we'll be able to confederate him next turn. Start of turn 11, we've got a bit of raiding going on here from this rebellion, and it looks like our garrison and our mage here would be able to repel them. Let's see how far behind Tyrion we are. Oh, that's close. Oh, yes. Okay, yes, okay. Join Confederation. Cool. Alright, so we're going to start with 1,000 gold because we're so poor, and if that doesn't work, he'll certainly take 750. Yes, alright. Confederation complete. So getting Illyrian first, if you can, is good because it gives you 2 gates as well as 2 provinces. However, getting Caledor first is also quite good because this also neighbours Lothern, and this means that if there's a revolt, you can easily send troops from one capital to another capital, which is where the revolts will happen. So when attacking the city of Quintex, we're going to go hard up against this one wall here, and this is to try and reduce the number of towers that have line of sight on us. We're then going to fan the troops out to be able to target the ranged units first. So we're going to fly the Seagull overhead to do a bit of harassment. This just goes to show how powerful Shadow Warriors are. Their ability to move and shoot at the same time really helps them get some arrow saturation on. So again, we want a good healthy distance. See this arc? These arrows need to actually make it over the top of this. And if you did that battle properly, you use your shields correctly, these guys will absorb most of the arrow fire, sparing your troops a bit of pain. We are absolutely going to occupy this to try and make the use of Invocation of Isha, which gives us a +10 untainted per turn. The biggest con with taking Morathi's provinces is that they're corrupted to hell. So while it took us an extra turn, this is really great because we've got all 4 provinces. Sometimes you don't get the Shrine of Assyrian because it gets captured by someone else. So first step, get rid of any stables or barracks. If you have an army raised, the best thing to do is to make use of it. So we're actually going to send Tyrion over here to go and face Broken Axe. We're not going to declare war until the turn we're going to fight them, but we're going to move Tyrion as close to the border as we can, and he's going to pass his best troops over, and then we're going to disband anything we don't want or anything that's just a bit too expensive for us. Now in diplomacy, we're going to try and join the war against the Scourge of Cain. To try and stop this degrading relation with Imric, because he'll be after Avalon, we're going to just join this war that we're never going to really have too much to do with. So from here on, quite obviously, you're just going to keep on plying Imric with gifts and influence until you can get him in 5 turns later, so turn 16. I'm just going to go ahead and show some of the things that can happen and complicate things, because this is a lot more difficult than the other campaign guides I've made because you've got more to manage. There is a high chance Morathi will manage to take one of the lower provinces. If she does that, she'll be able to recruit, and then that means you won't actually wipe her on this particular turn, on turn 10 or on turn 11. So in this case, I'm going to show what will happen. So this is a great example. She's got 2 trash stacks next to her. Remember, she can only hire basic units, so we need to take out Morathi, but her ambush defense will actually be quite passable. So instead, you could keep on trying to ambush her, but you wear down your movement. Instead, go for her supporting armies. You'll be able to take these out without any casualties. Take out one, push away the other, and then attack Morathi, because you do not want to be ganged up 3-way, because it will really be difficult for you to maintain your strength. So just do it this way, you'll get lots of experience, and then it's just a case of cleaning up Morathi as well as the other Dark Elves. And with your biggest threat gone, you'll probably want to spend a bit of time letting things calm down a bit and get a bit of civil administration, a bit of public order under control, and just smack down any revolts that have come up. But other than that, you should possibly target Hexwatel in the south after things are stable here, meanwhile uniting Ulthuan. But either way, once you've done this, you've got a fairly smooth campaign. You'll still always have more heat on you, just because Nagarythe does get more heat because you uncover more factions with your assassins. But regardless, he is an incredibly powerful lord with a very powerful faction, being able to ambush an underpass, and this gets you well on the front foot of having a pretty cushy campaign. But you have Ulthuan, and if you take Hexwatel's Lustria, then you've got 3 massive powerhouses that will push your economy throughout the entire game. So I hope this has been useful and entertaining. If you'd like to support the channel with a like and subscribe, I'd really appreciate that. Thanks so much. I'll catch you guys next time. This is Plot Armor. Cheers.